Hey guys, this is Anastasia. I am sorry that it was 2 weeks ago that was Samhain, and I'm just now getting the final completion of the scythe video up, but I thought along with showing my completed scythe dedication craft, I would also share my Hel Altar. Currently I don't really have any workings up on it, so I thought it was okay to share. So this is her altar space. Below here, these are some new additions that are little candle holders, but right now, or maybe they're vases, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what their purpose is going to be. I just got them this one as a gift, but it's the Hear No Evil, See No Evil, Speak No Evil with skulls, and I just love them and instantly thought they were a great little addition for her altar, especially since this year was definitely kind of smack upside the head about not taking things so seriously and remembering that, yes, one aspect of her is very much about kind of that darkness and embracing the shadow and understanding the darker side of things, for lack of a better phrase. But the other part of her is really about life, and it is about rebirth and about finding that joy. Just as you learn about death, one of the most important lessons of death I'm coming to find is you need to live your life, because death is inevitable. It's coming. No matter what you do, it will claim you. But if you spend your entire life experience fearing that, you're never going to have a true life experience. So I really liked those additions to her space, because I thought that was very poignant for kind of the lessons that I've been keying into more. So then up front we have my 4 elemental candles. So I've got my earth, my air, then on this side we have fire and water, just for that balance. When I have a working, they are usually around the working. Back here, this is my lantern. I will light that when I am doing meditative work. I will use it. That's the lantern that I put out when someone I know has passed away, and I'll leave that lantern outside with a candle in it all night long to kind of help guide that soul. For Samhain, it stayed outside with a candle burning to help guide the souls beyond the veil. And it kind of is that kind of home beacon for me. That's kind of what it represents, and it seemed Hel's altar was the right place for it. At one point I was thinking, okay, is this more of an ancestor connection? But for me, it really connects me to Hel, and kind of that coming home feeling. Maybe a really odd sentiment for other people, but for me that's really a lot of my energy towards her lately. Here I have, and I've done a video on this in the past. I did a video showing me making this, her dedication orb. So I have that on top of the lantern. This is something, it's just a resin skull, but I painted it half black and left the other half white. Just the half in death, half in light. Over here is a clock with kind of some darker harvest foods, and the clock goes to 13, and it's made of bone and such. It's actually a piece that was at my local Michael's, and as soon as I saw it, I'm like, 13, number of the goddess, it needs to go on Hel's altar. I don't necessarily know why it called to me, and I think sometimes pieces do that. be they pieces we make or pieces we find, it just kind of speaks to us and is like, you don't necessarily know the rhyme or reason, but boom, that's where it belongs. Here is her offering glass. It's just a silver goblet. Her picture, which I know you guys have seen a lot of given my scythe workings. There is her crow feather. This is my justice candle. The picture is actually taken from the Spirit Tarot, I believe it is, or the Ghost Tarot. It was the picture for the Justice card, and I thought it was just so beautiful and so perfect. And then it was part of a Justice altar that I had up for a while, but due to space I had to take it down. But I still like having this candle up. I have a spell on the back of it just to kind of always give, whenever this candle is alight, it is for a specific purpose. Then I'm gonna get down low here. This is her offering wax. I have that burning instead of incense tonight. Her 2 crow candles. I used to have 3. I cannot find one of them, so I figured, okay, either the good folk will return it, or maybe she only wants 2 candles. So I've got those kind of framing her picture. Her tower, of course, I have right in front. This is her offering hand. Anytime I have an offering for her that can fit in this hand, that's where it goes. So we've got a pod here, a piece of salt, some little pieces of tourmaline, a bone, a rose, her skull bead, and then these are names of people who have died this past year. Then here we've got kind of a little fossil, hematite, and then I don't know what stone this is made out of, but I don't know if it's how well it's viewable in the candlelight, but it's a skull made out of black stone. And again, saw it at a bead shop and I'm like, oh, that needs to go on her altar. I have my pentacle. When I'm doing a working, oftentimes it will make its way into the middle between the 4 elemental candles, and then the working this will serve underneath the working to kind of empower it, but since I don't have working, it just kind of goes off. This is a leaf that actually my daughter found this fall at the state fair. She grabbed it and gave it to me and was like, Mom, this needs to go on your goddess altar. So that is where I put it. This is an honoring candle that I actually made for Hel. The only time I light this is if I'm actually doing a working with her, when I'm asking for guidance, or not even necessarily a dedication per se, but I'm actually doing a working with her. Then her black mirror, of course, the black mirror was also on my justice altar. So when I took down that altar, I thought that this was the right spot. And this is actually my bag of runes. I am slowly but surely learning them. I know the alphabet quite well, but I don't want to read the runes until I have a much, much clearer understanding of them. But I do have them on my altar. I use them for workings, for craftings, to just help focus energies, but to actually read them and use them as a form of divination is something that's it's something that's a little daunting to me. For some reason it feels much more, I'm much more hesitant working with them for divination than I am my tarot cards or oracle cards. So it's much more of a sacred tool, and I want to make sure I have a much stronger foundation in understanding them. I've got a few books and such, but want to do a bit more before I start actually using them for divination purposes. So yeah, that in a nutshell is her altar space in my home. I have a little space up front for workings. The rest is just kind of honoring. Then over here is actually my full moon altar, and she has a little space back here. Oftentimes she's depicted with horns, and these are actually horns that were taken off of a deer. Ray and his family hunt, and when I started exploring a bit more of working with bones and animal and kind of more shamanistic things, he was kind enough to bring me a bunch of antlers and such, and these are actually still connected by a part of skull. So his family's awesome. When they hunt, they use every part of the deer. It's done very humanely. I really am thankful for how they definitely honor the process. So I felt good using the pieces he gifted me. And then this is actually a little paper mache. It's more of a Dia de los Muertos, but I really enjoyed it. And again, the colors really made me think of Hel. And so I kind of attached that to her antlers to have a place of honor. I've got Cernunos honoring bottle here with another antler. Then Hel. Then here, poor Aphrodite, she's got like 3 shells. That's kind of it. And then this is all full moon based. But yeah, so that's kind of a hop, skip, and a jump away from her altar. And then here is the finished scythe. So here you can see I've got the wooden blade with regular and black mirror. The black mirror just kind of looks like black globs, but the regular mirror you can see shattered. The regular mirror looks much more pleasing aesthetically. When I kind of completed it, it took me a minute or two to deal. I preferred the look of the regular mirror and was kind of kicking myself for not just using regular mirror, but then the more I thought of it, the more it wasn't about the look. It was much more about the symbolism, and the symbolism behind using the black mirror as well was such a powerful thing for me personally. And the releasing of the spiritual and the internal mess that I have and shattering those black mirrors was amazing. So I really symbolically love it, and I'm starting to like the aesthetics more. But yeah, so that's the blade. Up here we have the tourmaline. I had to glue that sucker super hardcore, so the glue's kind of showing through much more. The clay that I had originally used broke a couple times once I started doing burning and fastening of things, so had to glue it a bit more. Then we have, I'm going to shift my hand, so there we go, just in case it got a little bumpy. The 13 apple seeds, the 3 moonstones, and then I also added some of the Hel honoring herbal blend. I put in a sachet instead of gluing it along the back of the staff. I really loved the symbolism of it, but when I burnt in the dedication to Hel on the it's of course along the back, along the staff, it kind of twisted and turned with the wood, so I couldn't find a real good spot to put those. So I decided to make an honoring sachet to her. I made a sigil, and it says Hail Hel, and then Hail Mighty Dead, because it's one of the major things I learned early on with her is when I honor her, I'm also honoring the dead. She is the keeper of the ancestors. She is the keeper of the honored dead. Yes, there are those that go to Valhalla and Folkvolt and other realms, but when I connect to the ancestors, it's very much also a connection to her. So I wanted both of them represented. And that was the whole point for putting the apple seeds on the staff. Along the back of it was the backbone of my workings with Hel thus far have been ancestor workings as well. Then back here, I wrote a personal dedication to her, again, using the runes. And then we have this lovely mess of twine. We have 3 crow feathers, and then 3 ended up being chicken bones because in the end, I was thinking about ordering crow bones, and the more I thought of it, the more I was like, you know, it needs to be bones of some sort, and I didn't want to use fake bones. It felt like it had to be real bones, and a chicken bone, a crow bone, either way, it's a bone. And that was the major point for me, was to have real bones connected to this. As grisly as it may sound, I was kind of, you know, I understand human bones probably are much more connected, but, you know, it also is what I have access to. Sorry, that's kind of an odd subject, so yeah, that's weird. Sorry, I don't know why I went into that. And then you can kind of see along back here, there we go, we've got the dedication that I showed before. And the bottom you saw and everything, I've kind of got it secured into place, and I don't want to move it for fear of it crashing, because that has happened a couple times. I've been pretty lucky with not really any damage happening, but it is still very scary, so I don't want to mess with it too much. But yeah, that is the overall look of the completed scythe. And I also shared with you a bit about my full moon altar, but definitely shared my Hel altar with you as well. So I will put this on both my Hel dedication for Samhain 2017 playlist, but I'm also going to include this on my altars playlist, as I did kind of go through and give a tour of her honored space. Oh, I forgot about this candle. Sorry. Back here, this is actually a candle that I got from a friend on Facebook. And you can't really see it. Let me see if I can move. Shifting hands. I just love this stand, so I want to show it as much as I can. It's a crow's foot, and I got it from, of all places, Target, Halloween last year, 2016. I'm trying to get, oh, and of course I blew out the candle doing it. Wonderful. There we go. You can kind of get a better idea. So it's just a little crow's foot. Whenever, this is kind of also where, if I have stick incense, where I pop it in, because she doesn't have a stick incense holder. She has her loose incense holder, but not the stick incense. So, so yeah, that is my altar and completed scythe. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I know I'm working on not apologizing as much, but I do want to say again, I'm sorry it's taken me 2 weeks to show the completed scythe. But yeah, I really appreciate you guys taking an interest, all the comments, all the warm fuzzies. Thank you, thank you. I hope this has been interesting for you. I really appreciate it. Appreciate being able to share it with you. So thank you, and as always, blessed be. Bye, guys.